Carl and Liam here from Games, Brains, and Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com, and we are getting Goosebumps with episode 10 of season 1, Night of the Living Dummy 2, directed by Ron Oliver. Yes, it is this again. We did not miss Night of the Living Dummy. It just does not exist. Even later on, it jumps to Night of the Living Dummy 3 in one of the later seasons for whatever reason, and this one I do not understand. Before, with the Return of the Mummy, that one I felt like I could point at and say, okay, they use elements of the first one in this. In this is just the second book done. And I don't get why.
I always wondered why they just skipped past it and went straight to 2. But like I said, maybe not every book is adaptable, and they just looked at it and was like, nah, screw that, and just went on to the next one.
Maybe. Well, what's even stranger is that they call this one, whereas like Return of the Mummy, you could at least say, okay, well, that's the title on its own. But this one is called Night of the... It even comes up after the opening credits, Night of the Living Dummy 2, suggesting...
Why put the 2, yeah.
Yeah, just call it Night of the Living Dummy, if that's the case then.
Definitely, yeah. Strange.
And of course, this is obviously one of the most famous of R.L. Stein's creations. It is Slappy the Dummy. I'd admit, when I saw the dummy in this, I kind of forgot what he looked like, because I'm so used to seeing the more modern version of Slappy.
Oh, he looks so crappy compared to the original. I don't like how they changed the way he looks in the movie.
He looks more like a ventriloquist doll in this episode, and that's what he should look like.
Yeah, no, he's a really well-designed looking dummy. I like how he looks.
Yeah. We begin on an idyllic street with upbeat music. We focus on a specific house and kind of zoom out to reveal it's a painting that Sarah, who's played by Katerina Scozzone, is showing her parents. It's family night. And oh my God, this family are the fucking freaks of the Goosebumps series.
Yeah.
Freaks.
Glad I wasn't part of that family, man.
Yeah, man.
These regular like gatherings where you have to present your like skill or whatever. I don't know what it is, but there's some like hilarity that comes from it at least. So
there is some comedy, but yeah, as Liam said, it's about showing off your skills or something you've been working on. And Amy, played by Maggie Castle, makes a comment and gets up to show hers, but is sat back down by her father as it's Jed's turn. Jed is played by Andrew Sardella. This opening is just to establish the characters more than anything else. Give us their names and who they are in the position in the family. Things are about to get really fucking weird. This was not okay. As Jed reveals, he made a movie about the family, which is clips of the family doing stuff that he filmed secretly, including spying on his sister while she was in the bathroom.
Here's how come Sarah hogs the bathroom so much. Jed, you're such a pain. Guess whose new sweater Amy's trying?
And the parents are just like, oh, Jed. I'm like, what the fuck, guys? This isn't okay.
Yeah, it's got some voyeuristic tendencies going on there.
Danger.
But I found it funny also, if you notice, during his little video like he shows the soundtrack in the video itself is like the Goosebumps theme music.
Remixed.
I thought was like, really like silly.
What impressed me more was considering the year this was made, that kid has some skills in regards to video editing and layering that music in.
That's why the father's not like, he finds it really amusing. I think he's quite impressed by his like editing skills, the way he cut it together, man.
True, yeah. And everyone, like you said, is amused, not angry.
No.
It's Amy's turn though, and she is a dummy called Dennis. She is a would-be ventriloquist, and she's okay at it. She's actually all right with it, managed to keep her mouth from moving quite nicely. But Dennis's head pops off and flies and hits the floor. And basically, it's because he's old and cheap, and she's annoyed because her parents said they would get her a new one, and he haven't. But the dad then reveals he's bought her a new one. He found it in a secondhand store. And when Amy opens the case, it's Slappy.
Oh, wow, he's great. Slappy? Daddy, thank you.
Immediately, she finds a card in its pocket with ritualistic words on them that she then proceeds to read aloud. And I was a bit like, whoa, episode, slow down. Slow down. It's a fast-paced episode.
That's the second episode in a row with ritualistic words that bring something to life.
Yeah. She loves the dummy though. She loves it and hugs it. And this is where we then see its eyes move towards her. So already it's like, okay, dummy's alive. We're going to be doing that.
Not screwing around, man. Getting to the point.
Really isn't. Later, she's practicing with Slappy while we see that Dennis has kind of been tossed to the side. Poor Dennis. Slappy starts to talk of his own accord, and this is where parts bug you, right? So she's got the dummy, and he starts to talk of his own accord. And her response to that isn't, what the fuck? I'm not doing this. This thing's possessed. Let me set fire to it. She goes, that's weird.
Don't have to.
Yeah, we don't have to.
Come on. Mom says so. That's weird.
That's true. Bit of a lack of a reaction to it, to be honest.
It's a bit of a Goosebumps trope that there's a lot of underreacting to sometimes quite serious events.
Yeah, I mean, she could have got, there's many things she could have done differently as well.
Amy goes to bed, puts Slappy next to Dennis. And the moment she gets in the bed, we hear a bang, and she gets up and finds that Dennis is on the floor. She thinks it just fell off, so she puts it back. But however, did you notice this? This is what I do love. Subtle touches. Slappy is sitting up straight. When she puts him down, he's like a ventriloquist dummy. His limbs are all loose and all that. When she gets out of bed and puts Dennis back on, Slappy is actually sitting like that. And it's just in the side of the background. And I was like, hey, that's awesome.
Yeah, it looks like you can see the contrast between when he is acting like more alive to when he's playing like more of a dummy. Yeah, cool. It's creepy.
It is creepy, absolutely. That night, we then get POV, classic POV for Goosebumps, from someone or something wandering the house creating... I couldn't work out what it was at first. It was only at the end I got it, because it's really dark and all you see is something dripping, like dripping from this POV. It's paint, basically, and it creating a trail into Sarah's room where we see the person, whoever it is, focusing on the painting. So obviously they're about to destroy it. The next morning, Sarah is very upset, and we see that her painting has had a load of stick figures added to it. Which I was like, oh, that's it.
Very, very crudely drawn.
Obviously, Amy gets to blame. Of course she does. But here's the thing. Get used to this. Get used to Amy getting the blame for something and never really getting punished. Her parents are like fucking hippies when it comes to this shit.
That's true. Yeah, she doesn't really get into much trouble for it, does she?
On her way out of the room to go to school, Amy says goodbye to Slappy and notices he has paint on his hands. And she wonders aloud how it got there. Then we cut to family night again. And I laughed. The family are being serenaded by the dad, who's doing "If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands" with an acoustic guitar.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Again, I keep mentioning how these episodes have reoccurring things in them, but it feels like the goofy father figure, that seems like quite a reoccurring thing as well.
It's so awkward. If you've ever had to experience anybody playing an acoustic guitar at you, let alone your own father, and that you almost have to enjoy it, because if you don't, he'll get upset. It's like, oh no.
I swear they do look like they're enjoying it. They're like clapping along and stuff, man. It's quite amusing.
It is. But of course, it's Amy's turn, and she starts to perform with Slappy. Slappy starts to talk on his own again, and he begins to insult the family. But obviously, this is Goosebumps, so we're not getting sick burns here. We're getting very childish insults. Do you know what I mean?
So what did you think of Dad's song?
That was your dad? Well, what a relief. I thought the cat got stuck in the dishwasher.
Amy, that's not very nice.
Slappy.
And how about that mother of yours? She went to a store and asked the clerk if he had anything her size, and he told her to try the freight elevator.
Me? But it's not me, it's him.
Oh, yeah, it's true. But also, I think it's kind of silly when it's clearly plainly obvious that because she almost talks at the exact same time as Slappy. It's like obvious she couldn't possibly be doing both voices.
Of
You
course.
know, so, and it's like they still believe it's her. Like, you have to stretch the believability a bit more, you know.
Yeah, not only of that as well, her tone changes. He's got a high-pitched voice, but his tone has a low rumble to it. She if I'm her father, we're like, oh my God, you got really good at being a ventriloquist in a week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
She obviously tries to blame it on the dummy, but obviously no one believes her, and she's sent to bed. Upstairs, she throws Slappy in a case and tries to get him to talk. She then locks him inside. And that's that for now. Sometime later, Amy is with some friends in a room as they're decorating a poster for a school dance. There's a young child here being babysat by her friend, and she sees the box with Slappy in it at the back of the closet. Amy is then distracted by Sarah being annoyed that Amy took her markers to color it in. Sarah leaves, and Amy sees that Slappy is now free. She picks him up to put him back, but once he's in her arms, he starts to insult her friend, making it look like it's all Amy again. Now, there was one line here that I loved. I thought was super, super creepy. And it's what the young girl says. She says, he said he couldn't breathe.
Alicia, don't touch that. She won't hurt it. He said he couldn't breathe in there.
Hey, Marco.
Yeah, that is creepy actually, thinking about it.
Yeah. So he whispered to her through the box, help me, I can't breathe. Ooh.
Yeah.
Slappy then grips the younger one's hand really tightly, causing her pain. Amy's mother arrives, so Slappy does let go here. Amy obviously tries to pin the blame on Slappy, but a friend calls her a liar and storms out, saying she never wants to see her again. So it's the whole thing what you expect with Slappy. I'm going to destroy your life, turn everyone against you. Yeah. Amy's mother has had enough, and we hear Slappy laughing about it after everyone leaves. Later, the family are discussing Amy's behavior, but she continues to blame Slappy and wonders why no one will believe her. I mean, she's not young. It's obvious why no one doesn't believe you.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you probably shouldn't expect anyone to believe you in that sort of situation. I don't know, like, yeah.
Maybe go out your way to set them up. Like, my next thing would be, right, I'm going to have to prove this. So I'm going to have to prove this somehow. Yeah.
It's also obviously set in a time when people didn't have phones and cameras and whatnot, but you know, if she could catch him somehow, if it was set in modern day, for example, it would have been much easier to like catch and prove it, you know.
This is where bad writing comes into it. There is a very simple way to catch Slappy.
The brother's video camera.
Yep. In fact, the father makes a point of says to him, oh, don't take the camera without asking again.
Yeah.
So they have a video camera.
I'm surprised they didn't do that and then have it be like, oh, she tries to show the tape during family night and it's been like wiped or something like that or destroyed.
Yeah.
That would be, yeah, if they had more time in the episode, I would bet they would have done something like that.
You might be right, because it's a very limited time. Her father does suggest that she's acting out because she is the middle child. And then her mother that suggests that if she truly believes Slappy is to blame, then maybe she needs to see a doctor. How many times has that happened? These parents' answers to bad behavior by their children is psychiatrist.
Yeah, they're like, we're not doing any parenting here. We'll just send you to like a medical professional and they can do the parenting for us, damn it.
Tell me about it. Amy storms out after Sarah laughs at her. That night, as Amy sleeps, Slappy gets out of the closet. Go on.
Like, what kind of thing is that to really threaten your child with anyway? It's like a bit of a weird threat, isn't it? But like, if you don't sort yourself out, I'm going to send you to like a therapist, you know? I don't think like anything that extreme has also happened. It seems like a bit of an over-exaggeration.
I wonder if it's more of an American thing than anything else. You know, we you know, when we were children, we got threats in a different way. But maybe in America, the threat was you'll be sent to the head doctor.
Yeah, maybe that's common there. I don't know.
So yeah, that night as Amy sleeps, Slappy gets out of the closet and goes downstairs to find the parents both asleep on the couch. Amy wakes up and sees that he's gone. She runs downstairs to find Slappy about to go all Jeff fucking Jarrett on her parents with the guitar. It made me laugh so hard.
Amy.
He's going to wallop her father with the guitar. I desperately wanted to see him proceed because that would have been hilarious. Just
to see also like him wake up and like get up from that. Cause I don't know if it would have like killed him or whatever, but just to see her try and explain that away would have been like definite hilarity.
Oh, it would have been so much fun. But yeah, Amy manages to get there in time, dives on him before he can hit him. Her parents obviously wake up and see Amy lying on top of Slappy, but also on top of the guitar, which is now broken.
Oh no, he can't play his songs anymore, man, at family night.
He does look pretty gutted about it, though. He does look pretty gutted.
Yeah.
Obviously, she gets to blame. Her father sends upstairs to bed again. And all I keep thinking, right, at this stage, why don't the parents just get rid of the doll? Right, your punishment is this doll is going.
Yeah, because she and blaming this doll, so like just take that out of the equation, and then if it continues to happen, then what's she going to blame then? For example, you know.
Yeah. The next morning at the breakfast table, Sarah and Jed are sent to get ready for school so the parents can talk to Amy. And I was like, right, this is it. Obviously now things have gone too far and they're going to punish her. Nope. They want to talk. They want to help her, not punish her. And I get the whole good parenting side of that thing, but they just don't believe the Slappy story. And because she continues to insist she's telling the truth, their response is, we're not going to talk to you about this until you stop telling us that story. And then they just go. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, wow, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Later, Amy runs into Margot and friends outside who all ignore her. And I did feel a little bit sorry for her here because it did sort of show the isolation part of things, you know?
Yeah, Slappy has succeeded in isolating her for sure.
Yeah, but it turns out she's actually carrying Slappy with her. And she throws him down a storm drain. And I had to do it. I wrote higher Slappy, obviously. Storm drain.
You're never gonna hurt me again. Not ever.
Hey, kid, wait, come on!
Yeah.
We do hear kind of Slappy kind of calling, like saying, hey, don't, like he says something about like, oh no, don't throw me down there, don't throw me down there.
Yeah.
That night, it's very windy out. Sarah is asking Amy why she did what she did. Why did you do this? Why did you blame Slappy? Amy's still refusing to change her story as Sarah is wiping down the floor. She says, tell Jed not to run in mud again, as we see there are muddy footprints, but they're so small. Like you're like straight away, you're like, well, clearly that's Slappy.
Yep.
Did you notice one problem though?
What's that?
The position of the feet. So they're in the kitchen, which is where the back door is on that side. And the footprints are implying he came in that way and obviously ran across the floor. But the footprint position has the heel the wrong way round. It would be him going the opposite way out the door. Yeah.
Oh,
being really pedantic there.
Yeah, well noticed. I didn't notice that one.
Amy goes to her room and finds more footprints. These ones are correct. They're actually facing the right way towards the bed. She looks under it, but Slappy is behind her and he greets her. He says they're partners. She spoke the words and it means they are one. She is effectively his slave. He points out that he's turned her entire family against her and he will continue to do that. Yeah, fair enough.
Mischievous little bastard.
Yeah, and I do love this, and it's something even the movies did correctly. I love his arrogance. I love that he's an arrogant fucker.
Yeah, he knows like how good he is at what he does. Yeah, for sure.
She dives on him and is caught by Sarah. However, Slappy reveals himself to Sarah for reasons. Don't know why he bothers to reveal himself. He just does.
Sarah, he's
Hey, Sarah, wanna play?
The power then goes out and the girls run away. They hide in the bathroom and hug, having, oh, he's real, I believe you now, all that stuff. Slappy walks off and they realize he's going to get Jed. They leave the room and go looking for him. They grab a torch and a broom. And in the living room, Slappy teases them from a chandelier. It's all very cat and mouse stuff. He knocks Amy over and approaches her, but before he can do anything, something comes diving at him and knocks Slappy onto the fireplace. His head smashes and a green glow leaves, effectively the evil spirit being vanquished.
All this made me think was that, like, you know, he's destroyed so easily. Like her attempt at getting rid of him was to throw him down a storm drain, but she never thought for 1 second to just attempt to destroy him in some way.
Smash his head, yeah.
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 So that was kind of like, she probably should have thought about trying that.
Yeah, it's kind of underwhelming. It's kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, that's how it goes out, really.
Parents arrive home. Sarah confirms that Amy was telling the truth and that Jed saved them. But Jed arrives and doesn't know anything about it. They all look over to see Dennis the dummy, standing on a table. And he says it's good to be back in the family again and starts laughing while sounding exactly like Goofy.
It's good to be back in the family again.
Oh my God, I said, when I saw it, I said the exact same thing.
What the fuck was that?
He's like yucking and shit.
Yeah, exactly that.
It's true. I know, it's the exact thing. I was like, what's that about?
There should have been a cease and desist from Disney over that one, man. That was some dodgy shit.
Surprised because it's on Netflix, they didn't like change it or something.
So yeah, that's the episode Night of the Living Dummy. There is Night of the Living Dummy 3 later on. But overall, I found this one just to be, it's okay. Like, it's okay.
It's a serviceable episode, but obviously it contains probably the mascot of Goosebumps, one of the most iconic like figures that came from this show in Slappy. And you know, he's an entertaining little bastard. You know, I like the voice actor that does his voice, and like you say, it's cool when you can see the difference between when he's a dummy or when he comes to life. And the dummy itself looks good, like it's not cheap looking, like which is good. You know, they could have cheaped out. And yeah, but it's like you said, it's an okay episode overall, and it's kind of disappointing because the build towards the finale and the big showdown is not bad, you know, but then it just kind of ends on a bit of a whimper. Agreed.
And ultimately, a lot more of this episode, some is just for laughs, stuff that isn't necessarily meant to be funny, but you just end up finding funny because of the silliness of it all.
Yeah, like that ending with Dennis coming to life and revealing himself to not only the kids, the parents also see him now alive. So it makes me really curious as to what happened, the fallout from that was after. Surely, if like the parents are now aware that this dummy is sentient, you know, it's going to conclude itself pretty quickly if he attempts to be evil or whatever. Now the parents are aware, but I imagine they also probably needed therapy, which seems to be a thing that parents suffer more with than the kids.
Agreed.
Kids in therapy, right? And then they're the ones that end up in therapy. That must be a bit of a joke there.
Yeah. I have no idea if Night of the Living Dummy Part 3 continues on from this, or it's just a brand new story. I do
remember it. I remember it does continue it. And it actually continues with Slappy getting his face repaired because it's been smashed, so it needs to be repaired. So it's a complete direct continuation, I recall. Yeah, I think there might be even another one after as well.
Okay, just like Chucky then. Okay.
Yes.
There you go. Let us know what you think of it in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?